Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream Park on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. It's a very nice one today. Not a lot of humidity, Brian and I were noting as we were coming outside to the set. We've got our three surfaces you see there, a fast track, fast tapeta, and firm turf course, and a lovely day today, huh?
Yeah, this is about as nice as it's been in quite some time. Beautiful, as Samantha said, not a lot of humidity. Come on out and say hi. Ron will be up with us later. He loves talking to his fans out there, and he'll be up later with the Rainbow Six as well, which is now officially at $50,000 and counting, and we'll probably double that today. It'll be a big pool today, and as we saw yesterday, you don't have to have a single ticket to score out. I think it was almost $19,000 for what was likely a couple winners there.
Yeah, and that last race, it was a huge upset. It was a tough play. It wasn't easy, so if you hit it, congratulations. Yep. We're going to get back to it again today. But race number 1 starts the early pick 5, and as always, Brian has that ticket duty, so let's see it today.
Yeah, and that pool yesterday really blew up. It was over, I think it was 605,000 or so. It's already over 60,000 now with a long time to go. The single, best bet of the day, right off the rip in Sandpiper Memories. We'll talk about the opener in a second. 165 down to the inside with Cape Cod in race number 336 is the order. Very few meaningful scratches on the card, so that's always a good thing for the handicappers. Divine Connection, 4-4 is for me on top. And then number 7 in race 5, Alley Oop Johnny for Marty Drexler. I know you hinted at it yesterday, and Marty got to win. The barn is really starting to go downhill and pick up some wins in bunches, and Marty does a good job. So $27, Sam.
And kicking off the opener with a strong single, Sandpiper Memories. I had this horse picked in second here, but I'm curious to see about this filly, what you were kind of thinking.
Well, I would expect Sandpiper Memories to be a pretty stiff favorite in here. I'd be really surprised if She's the North goes favorite. I mean, you look at Sandpiper Memories coming out of a 25 starter. This is a big class drop. In for 16 today, ran very well in that starter, and that was her first start for Jose D'Angelo and first start off the layoff. That was a race, I don't see anybody in this field, She's the North included, that would be able to play with a group like that. Now we're on the drop back in, second time. I just feel like it's all systems go, and I think this is a horse that will be a strong favorite. So I want to try to get ahead of the curve a little bit by singling, because you're probably not getting any value on the tote board. Yeah,
definitely not at all. And you like the 6. That's who I've got on top. She's the North. She's a super consistent mare here. She always hits the board, and she's done a lot that they've asked of her, going sprinting and going 2 turns, so you can't discount her for that. I just feel like she has a little more gameness edge to her than Sandpiper Memories does. But like you said, she was coming off of a layoff, and this is a 4-year-old Sandpiper Memories who's developing, whereas She's the North, she's 6 years old. We've kind of already probably seen all we're going to get from her.
Yeah, exactly. And if there was no Sandpiper Memories, she is deserving strong favorite in here. But I don't think, this Sandpiper Memories is not the type of horse you're going to see in these 16s quite often. And now I think she's a problem for She's the North. I could have, easily used them both, but at $54, that's a little too much. I'd be really surprised if we don't get out of this sequence with 4 or 6.
You actually do have a stat on Sandpiper Memories, so I'll let you.
Yeah, this is Jose D'Angelo here. Off the claim turf routes here. This is, in claiming ranks, turf routes, and that's 29% with a big ROI. So he does well in so many different, areas, and this is just another one, turf routes, and this is a barn that's so sharp. And Jose wins at a high percentage because he puts them in spots where they can succeed. I think Sandpiper Memories, that's front and center right here today.
Race number 2 is the start of the early pick 4. I've got ticket duties on that one. Let's go ahead and see how I'm going. The race 4 is my single, and I think that will be a lot of people's single. We'll get to race 2 in just a moment. Race 3, my top pick is the 6. Always was my top pick, Cozaris. I think this will be a pretty heavily bet colt here. Like I said, race number 4, that single, Divine Connection. I think that this is going to be a horse that hopefully with a better trip will be all right. And in race number 5, the 9 is my top pick out of that. That's Parkland coming from the Saffie Joseph barn. That's a tough race. We've got a replay of there, I believe, 5 of them coming out of that same race. So it'll be a nice one. $18 is the play here. But race number 2, pardon me, I'm trying to skip ahead here. $35,000 on the Tapeta, non-winners of 2. No scratches out of this one. And as you can see, it's wide open. We completely see this difference different ways.
Yeah, I went with Cape Cod down inside. I thought this horse had a trip last time and it still ran very, very well. All things considered, we're down inside again. You know, that was back on the Tapeta, ran a 10 that day on the Thoroughgrass, which is basically as good as anybody in here. This is a tough, compact group of 6, and you can see with our selections, you know, she doesn't have my top pick anywhere, and I don't have a few of her picks in here as well. So it's that kind of, it's a tricky race for just 6 horses.
Yeah, it is. And the 6 that I went to on the outside, who you have selected second, Luis Saez stays aboard here, coming off of a bit of a freshening up as well. Second off of a freshening up, which I do like. And I like this outside post here because it gives Luis Saez just some options to his inside.
No, I agree. And now, you know, we have to mention both of our top picks. You're 1 for 21. I'm 1 for 13.
Yeah.
So, we're, you know, tread a little bit lightly on what might be a spread race. But, yeah, Ernesto is certainly in form. To see Luis stick around after just missing last time is a big, big positive. And I agree, too. He can break and see what's going on to his inside and act accordingly. Because this is a horse, you know, dropped out of it last time, but you see the race 2 back right there throughout.
And the number 4, don't ignore this colt with trying the Tapeta for the first time, because his dam, Overly Tempting, was actually grade 1 place on the Tapeta at Santa Anita. So, you know, I think that this horse can maybe pick up his feet a little bit. He should be all right.
Yeah, second time off the layoff should help too. Showed the speed last time, so it's not like you have to worry about maybe this horse is drastically off form. I like horses like this, speedsters that come back off a layoff with their speed. That's a positive.
Race number 3 here. This is 6.5 furlongs on our fast main track. State bred maiden special weight event. 3 years old here for these colts and geldings. And there is one scratch of the 4 Vanishing Interest here. And I'll let you kick it off with the 3 Bernardo's Legacy.
It's a tricky race, right? Because the proven horses have in and out form. The favorite hasn't been out since December. Well, you know, look at Bernardo's Legacy. I look at the race 2 back. He had a real brutal trip last time at the start, so I'm just going to draw a line through that race. Focusing on the race 2 back, Luis Saez gets aboard. Doesn't have the upside of Cozeras, who's clearly the horse to beat.
Right.
But maybe we can get back to that race. Maybe, you know, you would have thought, Samantha, that there's plenty of races for Cozeras.
Right.
I don't know. Where's he been off such a good debut?
Yeah, and, you know, that's one thing to nitpick at. And the number 3, Bernardo's Legacy, just was a bit hesitant. Is him and the 2 are both coming off a 19-day layoff. But you can argue that Bernardo's Legacy didn't do much running. Yeah, so, you know, you can't play into that too much. It's something that just kind of being around horses, sometimes I kind of see it affect him. Fillies more than the boys, but you just never really know. And like you said with Cozeras, this is a horse that was just kind of lukewarm bet on debut the day after Christmas, but gets Lasix on for the first time now that he's a 3-year-old, which I think should move him up. You would hope so. You
know, I'm glad you mentioned that, too. I picked him that day, and he wasn't, I know he was 4-1, but I think we were all on this horse and expected him to be bet.
He wasn't.
Really wasn't. And the other thing that I didn't like either, you expected him to show a lot of speed, and he was very lethargic.
Yeah.
Out of the gate, and Terry Pompey does such a good job, and she's got a couple live bullets on Saturday that we'll talk about. Lasix, a nice post here. Hey, he's the horse to beat. He's also probably 7-5, and, you know, maybe there's some mixed signals here.
With these state breds, it's always kind of tough to gauge them sometimes. You never really know, and you can get a big upset. So on a race like this, if you don't have a strong opinion, spreading is certainly the way to go. When we come back, it will be Rainbow 6 time here at Gulfstream Park. We got Ronnie's ticket, so don't go anywhere.
And they're off.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Samantha Perry joined with Brian Nadeau as we're taking you through this Thursday card here. 9 races. Race number 4 kicks off the Rainbow 6 time, and I'll let you do the honors of exposing Ronnie's ticket.
We'll take a look at it here. And again, $50,000 in that gross jackpot guarantee. It's a 3240, and you see a lot of three-ways there on his first 2 races. Here's his single in race number 6, and that's Quincy Cafe for Lacey Gaudette, and IRAD is here as well. 2 deep in race 7, and that's got my long shot caddy man for Ron, but Ronnie goes 4-7, and then a 3x3 late double. I always thought race 8 was really problematic, and he's got Fulminate in race 9, who was going to be my best bet of the day, but I swapped to the opener. But Fulminate is going to be very tough to catch off the claim for Rohan Crichton. I see 3240 as we just get going in that rainbow, and I can tell you this, it will not take long to get up there, but I can also tell you this, we talk about it so many times, great time to get involved.
Yep.
Maybe you catch a price or two. You got a chance to sweep this thing without, an influx of a lot of money early on, at least.
Yeah, and I actually kind of prefer playing it when it's like this.
I agree.
I feel like it's kind of a little more of an edge, so we'll see, though. This opener, though, to kick off the Rainbow 6 is a tough one as well. It's non-winners of 2 races, 12-5 claimers, scratched the number 3 Challenge Princess out of this spot, and this is a race that I don't want to speak for you, but I think that you had the right idea. The 6 and the 7, you have to pick one of them, and we just went the complete other way because you can't use them both. You won't get anything out of that, and they're both going to be very heavily bet. But the number 4 Divine Connection, you saw probably what I saw, and we'll show you if you haven't. This was a race where Edgar Perez lost his irons right out of the gate. The whole way was racing like that, which you have to give him credit for. It's hard to ride a race. So he lost 1 iron. When he couldn't get it back, he kicked his feet out. So and that's honestly, that's what you have to do in a situation like that, because instead of riding lopsided on the horse, you've got both of your legs around him, and you just kind of do it in that type of style. And he was still able to get that filly in a pretty nice 3rd place finish, but as you can see, they all kind of hit the wire together.
I thought it was remarkable.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to tell you I've ever ridden a thoroughbred racehorse, but that looked impossible, and basically the entire way he was out of the iron. We didn't see it there. She was really, really wide on the far turn. Credit to him and his horsemanship for even, staying on and being able to ride, let alone, just to stay on. Luis Saez goes on today. Let's take a look at a stat, too. Victor Barboza off the claim in dirt sprints here, and this is a barn that now we're starting to see quite a bit of here. This is a big number. And, the ROI is predictably, quote-unquote, low because this is a barn that gets bet a lot. She might be good enough anyway, Samantha, and then you see that, and then you see this, too, off the claim, and you better look out today. Yeah,
I think that this is a filly that's going to come to play today, and she won't have she'll have a little more aerodynamics this time around. Yeah, fingers crossed for that. We want him to get around safely. But the 6 and the 7 here, I'll let you talk about them both. The 6 is facing winners for the first time, and the Billy Thorino's barn has been heating up as well, but I just don't think I trust a filly like this.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, if you just want to be a little hard-headed and look at her on her only dirt race, which was her last race, she's going to win. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I kind of agree with what Samantha's hinting at, in that it was just so above and beyond what she's done of late. The other thing, too, is Laveau passed her like she was standing still. And we know now Laveau has no interest in getting her picture taken out there. So I kind of almost feel it was one of those optical illusions where you're like, oh, 'tis business. She rebroke, and here she goes. I kind of think Laveau was just doing her thing again.
Exactly, yeah.
A huge figure as well, and winners, too. And, Samantha mentioned it. That can be a rude awakening for a horse that, laughed at maidens. We'll see what we get today. I'm not going to fight anyone that thinks she's the one to beat, and you got to use her. She's going to be a short price, and you better be a little careful here.
Yeah, you really have to. It's a tough one as well, but you kind of have to take a stand and figure out where you can save some money or buy another race, and this is a race that I think the 4 is a pretty solid play here.
especially if you can get the 3-1, because they're going to bet Alice Harper too. So
Exactly.
it's risk reward, I think.
Race number 5, start of the late pick 5 here on today's 9-race card. I've got a ticket put together here and had to rework it just a little bit with some scratches. I went kind of deeper in a different race. The turf races later. Spreading in this one, race number 5. We'll get to that in just a moment. In race number 6, it's my best bet of the day, and Ron single as well. So hopefully we're both alive to this point. Quincy Cafe on the drop for trainer Lacey Gaudette. Race number 7, going 3 deep in that. Moon Capture is my top pick. I had this horse last time. I hope this is the last time, though. I think I'm going to get involved with this guy here. I don't know if I trust him too much. Race number 8, the 3 Flag Woman is my top pick for the David Fisher barn. And race number 9, the finale. This is a tough 5-furlong sprint. We had some scratches come out of it. I think it'll kind of change the race shape a little bit here, but baby steps. I will not be my long shot anymore, and I'm going to get made fun of for that here. So $36 is the play. And race number 5. This is a tough one, Brian.
Yeah, it's extremely tough. I went to Alley-Oop Johnny, who I feel like had couple of trips in his last 2. It's Marty Drexler again. I know the race last time was on the Tapeta, but the turf race 2 back, I think it plays with a group like this as well. Grand Journey's been in very, very good form. This is a rising class. That was a good race for that kind of level last time. And, I thought it was a little bit of a spread race too. And maybe you get a hint of value on Alley-Oop Johnny, because they might see that Tapeta race and might overlook the turf race.
And he's one of the few horses in this race that is not coming out of the Parkland Extra Sexy Big Daddy race, Swashbuckle race. And before we run that, I just want to give a little bit of context. So there are 5 horses in this race coming out of this turf race right here. Swashbuckle was a huge price at 22-1, and so Parkland is the winner here. This horse is coming back. This is my selection in the race with Irad, and he is the 1, and we can go ahead and play this here now. Charles Chrome we saw run yesterday sprinting, so toss him out of it. But I do want you to watch here the 10-horse Extra Sexy Big Daddy. This horse is 0 for 9 on the grass, but he's always so game. I almost wonder if this extra little bit of 16th is going to help him out on the stretch out.
Well, you saw it there, and I agree. And I'm not going to beat up a horse that won by, over a length, but Parkland kind of sort of had to win in that spot. And, Swashbuckle, as you said, Swashbuckle was 22-1, doing all the dirty work. He held on for 3rd. You mentioned Extra Sexy Big Daddy. He ran very well from the back, too.
Yep.
I feel like there's a little more going on there than just Swashbuckle or Parkland at 8-5 in winning and coming right back. And he's going to be another short price in here today. That's why I at least faded him a little bit on top, but he's certainly on my ticket.
Jai's Solitude. This is a really classy, older Florida-bred, 7 years old, who, I didn't think he would win last time, just because the way the turf course was playing. This horse is a pretty deep closer, and he was up just in time. You got to give credit to Tyler Gaffleon because he timed that ride perfectly on him. And the 3rd-place finisher of that race came back to win, Super Energizer. So I think that flatters him some, and on numbers he fits, but this is still a different race here, and he's going to need some speed, I feel like, to close up on.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Let's take a look at the stat I pulled, because Brendan Walsh, when he gets them going, they continue to go pretty good. Winner last out turf here the past 5 years. Big ROI, too, 26%. The pace of the race is worth discussing. There seems to be some in here. Certainly Swashbuckle, we just saw it. He's going. You got XY Time to the outside, and he's probably got to go, too. The best I could do was put Fly the W in 4th. You didn't use him at all.
No.
Listen, he is in raging form, and Bobby DeBona can do anything, but boy, this is a Tapeta horse now playing the game of not only turf horses, good turf horses. He's favored on the line. I would be surprised if he's favored at post time. I'm fine with him beating me. Yeah,
and he's coming off of 11-day rest, which that's tough to do. He's 7 years old. Yeah, I use that loosely, and he's a horse that I've got a little bit of a bone to pick with him because he's completely blown apart my theory on horses winning. He accounts for all of the statistics of a horse winning back-to-back on the Tapeta because he's done it 3 times. So I'm going to sit and wait with
Listen,
him.
he is 1 for 1 on our turf course.
Yeah.
So, let's at
Gotta
least
give him credit.
we have to give him credit, and let's at least mention that. But he's going to be an underlay, whatever he is on the board, and it's not a good post.
No.
And these are good horses
They
in
are.
here. He's got to prove it to me.
He does. Race number 6, start of the late pick 4. Brian's got a ticket put together, and this is a tough sequence.
Yeah, it is a tough sequence, and I kind of just had to fulminate it at the end because I would have gotten a little too crazy with it. Too deep here, which we'll get to in a second. My long shot is Caddyman in race 7. In race number 8, Sophia D'Amore on the outside for Mike DiPaolo off the claim. And fulminate, we'll talk about it. She is scary as heck to me off the Crichton claim, keeping her speed. Boy, you better look out.
Yeah, she's going to be a quick one. $16 to play here. Race number 6, you went the complete opposite way of Ron and I here, so we'll see who comes out on top with Quincy Cafe. My best bet of the day, I think it's Ron's too, because it's his single. Taking a drop in class, they kept this horse around here after shipping from Laurel. 2 races over this surface, just kind of progressively, I wouldn't say getting better, because that 7 furlong race last time, I kind of just put a line through that, Brian. And on that, the rest of the form, I think, should be okay.
Yeah, the only thing that worried me, and that's why I didn't put her on my ticket, you can add her for $8 more. It's not like it's that big of a deal. I get that she's dropping in half, and that's supposed to, be the wake up or the go time kind of thing. That was a really slow race for 25.
Yeah.
There are only 4 horses in there too. These are potent connections, and I get it all. Aren't you supposed to see it out when you're open lengths clear and mid-stretch? It kind of left a little bad taste in my mouth, that's all.
The number 4 who you went with, Drew Breeze, dropping in class first off the claim for Kevin Attard.
Well, the barn struggled, admittedly, to get wins, but has run a lot of horses that have run well.
Yeah.
I think now, in hindsight, it's really easy to draw a line through the Tapeta race. He didn't like it last time. Well, look at the dirt races. Okay, he's got to face winners for the first time on dirt today, but at least he got that out of the way on the Tapeta last time. Those dirt races are just way better than anybody. I can't possibly imagine we're going to see 5-1. If we do, to me, that's an overlay.
Yeah, and this is a race where if somebody gets loose on the lead, you might not be able to catch him. Race number 7 here. This is 5.5 furlongs. It is a maiden race for 3-year-old Florida breds or maiden claiming price $50,000. So if you're not a Florida bred, you're in for the tag here. 5.5 on the Tapeta. And this is a race where, I see we've both faded Free Smoke, who was bet an ungodly amount last time.
Yeah, this is the race, right, that you're supposed to blow up your sequences with. Your late 5, your 4, Ronnie's Rainbow. To me, this is the race.
Definitely.
Who wants Free Smoke after that race?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly not me. And the other thing I really don't like, okay, this is a horse that was 4-5 last time. He didn't break, but it wasn't like he lost his race at the start. It wasn't one of those circumstances. They pay $145 for a Buchero, who are good, and they've been running on Tapeta. I get it all. To me, it's just like, and now blinkers go on, and it's like, well, he didn't run on dirt. Let's try him on Tapeta.
Exactly.
No, not for me.
We might see him on the grass next time, actually. And the number 2, Moon Capture, this was a horse that I played in the Free Smoke race last time, and it was kind of right church, wrong pew. I was trying to look for something else other than Free Smoke, and I think Uncaptured Soldier, who won that race, was or Uncaptured Star, pardon me, I was like 20-1 or some ridiculous amount. But the blinkers go on for this horse, and I'm kind of hoping he's got some speed, and he might be even sharper this time around. Now, 5.5 on the Tapeta in the front. Sometimes it worries me, but it seemed like yesterday, Brian, they were kind of stalling that last 8th, and nobody could really pass by those when you were at the lead.
Yeah, a little bit, but on paper, I think this horse is, if he's not loose, he's certainly controlling.
Right.
There's not a lot of speed in here. I guess Pidden down inside, but he's no great shakes. And, Get Cozy, you see he's been up close early, but those are route races. So I kind of think you're on the right idea here with Moon Capture. Can you trust him? Not really, but who can you trust in here? I'm
Right.
my long shot today is Caddy Man.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed the boat on Eddie Plisa because he's blown it up. It was probably a couple weeks ago now at 50 to 1. And I think it was 13 to 1. This horse is sneaky to me. The best race was the Tapeta Sprint 2-back. We're going to come back with Lasix. We're going to come back as a gelding. We're going to get Edgard Zayas. Not a big sample, but they are 25% from, I think it's a 13-horse sample now. They lost yesterday, so it's knocked down a little bit. But I don't think you got to be any great shakes to have a say in here. And that's before we've even talked about Get Cozy, who's going to be, might be 7 to 5 off that line and those figures, and I don't think he's got to win either.
Yeah, and it's one of the greatest equipment changes of all. First time gelding, the 6 Caddyman, so we'll see. Those Volta Oros can carry a lot of extra weight, so it'll be nice to see him in the paddock, see if that's kind of shaped him up just a little bit. Race number 8, our late double, 6.5 furlongs here. Scratch the number 4, Val's Gal. I was going to play that for my mom today. Her name's Val, but can't do that. 3, Flag Woman is who I landed with on top. This horse has some questions being from Tampa and coming here, but I feel like this form should hold up, and it gets IRAD.
Yeah, I'm not getting beat by anybody in this race. It's that type of race. We both don't want to pick the one, who we'll talk about in a second. I think the fact that IRAD is here for a barn that doesn't start a lot of horses here, I do think that is significant, and then David Fisher's got to win from just 2 starters at the meet. So I think the point being is when he ships over from Tampa, you better pay attention because he's here for a reason.
And the number 7, Sofia de Amore, she's facing winners for the first time, but you don't just win by 7 1/4 lengths and can't ignore that coming into a race like this.
And the runner-up was well clear of third, too. It's the right kind of group to jump up and face winners because I don't care who you like. They are tough to trust for sure. And I thought she did well to draw outside everybody else. And again, we mentioned it earlier, take a look to your left, Junior, and see what's going on and kind of act accordingly because she seems to have some gears.
And I think you and I both have the right idea. Again, I don't want to speak for you, but I don't want any horse coming out of a race.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And these horses are tough to trust for sure.
Yeah.
And, Pachinga Loca down inside, she's loose on the lead, but I don't know. Fossil got a win yesterday. That was good to see. But I'm going to use her because I'm spreading, but she's going to be an underlaid short price, and basically she's got one race, and that was at 33 to 1. That was a very, very funky race, 2-back, where I don't really know what was happening, to be honest with you.
You watch it again and again, and it gets more chaotic as you watch it. Race number 9, the finale, 5 furlongs on the grass, one of my favorite races to watch, but not handicap for state breds here. We've got some scratches, which I think will change a lot of the dynamics of the race. You're scratching the 1, the 4, the 8, the 11, and 12 out of this spot here, so that will definitely change the morning line as well. And you stuck to the speedy Fulminate here from Rohan Crichton.
Well, there might not be any horse this year that benefits more from the scratches because she was fast enough to wire this field anyway, and now some serious heat comes out of this race. You're talking Veloce Bella going 44 flat last time. Even St. Pat's Day had a long shot's got speed. Pressing speed to her outside. Golden Isles is freakishly fast early. And now Fulminate can just break running and do her thing. Rohan Crichton claims her 33%. We've seen Rohan move these horses way, way up. And I know Fulminate lost last time in a return back to Florida, but she kept her speed and she even brought more speed. She's a very, very good horse. 3 for 4 on the local lawn. They better have their running shoes on if they're going to catch her today.
Yeah, and with Louis Saez aboard, too, this horse is going to be gone goodbye. The number 10, Baby Steps, was my long shot of the day, but I think I'll keep that to myself now for the rest of the day. This is a horse, first time in the barn of Jorge Delgado, and I've got a replay here of that last race at Del Mar. Now, this horse was sitting in a pretty good spot. Now, as you can see here before we started, the head is already cocked on this horse, so she's already in trouble here. Going inside, going outside, not really so sure. And then after that, I think her confidence was just kind of gone. It just was like she was so hesitant to get up into the hole here and just never really kicked clear. I think at the top of that stretch, she just kind of lost her momentum and evened out. That was a runaway winner of the 3 there. I'm going to give her another chance. I was worried about the post position. Now I'm not. I think this horse has some rating gears as well. So if Chantel can just kind of sit off the 9 Fulminate, hopefully she can make a jump. And Jorge Delgado moves these horses up.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I think the plan is pretty simple. It's try to just keep Fulminate in your sights early and try to beat her off the far turn. And she did do well to draw outside of her. She's got form, even on paper, to play with a group like this, to play with Fulminate. And you said it, Jorge is 27% moving horses up. First time in his barn. We'll see what we get today. She does have some talent, and she does have some speed to at least keep Fulminate in her sights early.
That is the card now for this Thursday afternoon, but we've got the world-famous lightning round coming up from Ron has so graciously put together for us here. So let's see what we've got. Local class, congruent.
Yeah, this was cool to see. Antonio Sano, you give him credit. Each and every year he seems to come up with horses. I mean, simplification and certainly the over $5 million earner that I can't come up with right now. But congruent, I mean, was good, winning the Battaglia. So what this is, I think it gets him 20 points towards the Derby. He comes back. He won by 6 lengths, so he comes back. Gunnevera is the horse I was trying to come up with. And he comes back now in the Jeff Ruby, which is essentially an automatic qualifier. He can probably run 3rd in that race and make the Derby. He won the Laurel Futurity last year as well. So Antonio blew through the office with a group yesterday, and it's just always good to see him come up with a horse. He knows what to do with a good horse.
And you could be blind and still see that horse. He's so, he's just a really almost white looking gray, just a little gray on his legs, but cool horse. Excited for the connections. We'll see where that goes. Sonny Leon, the Derby dream for another year is still alive.
He's the reigning champion, so they got to knock him off, and it looks like he's got a really good chance to be back in the race.
Best bet today.
Hey, back in the race with a horse that was a Tapeta horse last year too, as well, with Rich Strike.
Hey, could be following the same kind of path there.
Who knows? Best bets in about 25 minutes. Sandpiper Memories in the opener.
We'll see how that goes. Mine is Quincy Cafe in the 6th race long shot.
Yes, Stabbing in race 7. That's Caddyman. The 6, 12-1.
Not out of the question here, and just hope he doesn't have to face Carl Spackler anytime soon. Mine is Baby Steps, but I will not be a long shot price probably on that. And now Stiletto Boy, sharp win. I see what Ronnie did there because of a stiletto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was clever, huh?
That was very,
It took him a few days to think of that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And here's Defunded, and here comes Proxy, as he always does, late on the scene. These are all Pegasus horses.
They are?
And Stiletto Boy, 3rd in the last 2 Pegasuses at big numbers, and here he's grinding down Defunded. Good for him. Yeah,
it was an awesome win. He's a classy horse, and that just type of race goes to show you, Brian, you have to be in it to win it. This is horse racing. Bob Baffert, he says, I'm not scared of you. Proxy, no way. Just let him have it. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the historic big cap, and good to see Stiletto Boy danced a lot of dances, get one for himself.
Say that 3 times fast.
No, I won't.
Beat the Expert is back this weekend here, and
that's me.
That's you.
That's me. Look at that. So yeah, 12 race card on Saturday, 2 stakes, including the graded Hurricane Birdie and the return of I want to say Candyman Rocket. That is
Freaks Rocket.
Thank you. Boy, he's got all those names.
So many, I know.
They're all really good too. And at least right now, none better than her. She was so good winning earlier in the championship meet. So that's the highlight of the Saturday card. Gulfstreampark.com/wagering. Get involved. It's a free contest. You beat the Expert, well, me, and you get a free polo.
You do, and you won't get that jacket that he has in the photo.
Still in the rotation, though.
It is. Ooh, we got to get that one changed out one of these days. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We will be with you throughout the day, as well as Claudia Spadaro and Ron Nicoletti. I'm off to the turf course. Brian and Ron will be up with you, but first, Pete Aiello with the scratches and changes on the card. Good luck.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues.
Life is good, and Ira Ortiz Jr. has ran them off their feet in the Pegasus.
World-class racing. Millions at stake.
Run forward, win the Preakness.
New champions will be crowned. Only at first.